guys, Ron here, and a few months ago I made another video in which I redesigned some of your fan-submitted Pokemon. You wanted me to do that again, so here is part 3. I asked you guys to send some Fakemon for me to redesign. The ones I picked were either perfect design-wise but didn't fit the Pokemon art style, or had amazing concepts and needed to be fully realized. It was super fun translating them into Pokemon's art style and using Pokemon's design philosophy, so leave a like and subscribe to let me know if you guys want part 4. And if you want to participate in part 4, here are the 3 rules. You have to follow me on Twitter, then create a Fakemon on a white background, and tweet it out with hashtag TrueGreen7 redesign 4. Try to add some kind of description of the Pokemon in your tweet so I fully understand the concept, and if your drawing is on paper, make sure the picture is as clear and well lit as possible. But the most important thing is don't include @TrueGreen7 in your tweet. Don't submit more than 4 Fakemon, and I won't be redesigning fusions, evolutions of real Pokemon, or regional forms. Only completely original Pokemon. Keep in mind that how well this video does determines how quickly the next episode comes out, so share the video and click the notification bell to stay up to date. Remember that it's okay to prefer the original design over my redesign. It's all subjective, so be nice. That's all, let's begin. Now the first design that caught my attention was S. Roserade's Llama and its evolved form Storma. Now Storma is this angry storm cloud llama, and the concept makes total sense, although if I'm not mistaken, alpacas are the fluffy ones, and llama fur is coarse and shaggy. But since llamas are less timid than alpacas, it makes sense for the evolved form to be a llama. Whatever, you don't care. The point is, I like dark color schemes for electric types, and the concept of its legs looking like thunderbolts is pretty smart. However, I will tone down the amount of random thunderbolts. I'm starting with what I know for a fact will stay, the lightning bolt legs, thunder thighs, and long llama neck. Now the original design had a fluffy body and spiky head. I decided to make its head fluffy like a cloud as well, but that will change. After all, it looks like a sheep right now. I decided to make it look like it has sideburns. Llamas are associated with clothes, so I have no problem adding human fashion into this design. Right now, it looks like it's wearing an 18th century wig and has a fancy collar, but it looked too cute. I decided to make it look up. It doesn't like you, it's judging you. I finally realized it would be fun to give it the personality of a mob boss, one that's wearing a fur coat, an Italian llama. I mean, the concept is finalized, but a ton of details will be changed. For one, this is not the final face. It'll change again at the end, because I realized it looked nothing like a llama. I made its tail mimic the cloud-like silhouette of its hair, and gave it a blue and yellow color scheme. This guy's palette was impossible to determine, but I realized it was the face that was throwing me off the most. Finally made it a bit more llama-like, and toned it down on the blue. Made it look a bit more natural, and now I'm happy. Here is Storma, the storm Pokemon, an electric flying type. Storma live a relatively solitary life, keeping guard over their prevos from a distance. They are full of light gas, which allows them to idly float in the sky. They drink rainwater stored in the clouds, and the friction caused by their movement causes lightning to emit from their body, which they use to defend their airspace. Storma is an unruly Pokemon. Only the toughest of trainers are able to obtain its respect. Once a month, Storma will gather together to share information with the other herd bosses, inadvertently creating thunderstorms in the process. When they get angry, their fur expands as it fills with static electricity. They must expel their electricity and anger in violent displays high up in the sky. They have the abilities Static, Defiant, and Mold Breaker. While I'm sure many may like the simplicity of the original concept, I'm a fan of how many modern Pokemon combine seemingly unrelated concepts in brilliant ways, and making my version look like a boss made this already fun design a bit more interesting to me. But again, all the best aspects come from the original design. The next design I fell in love with was Lizard's Sculpion. This is one of those cases where the design and concept are literally perfect. I'm probably not going to change anything, but it's clearly a rudimentary drawing, so it would be a shame if I didn't just take it and draw it in Sugimori style. It's cute and intimidating, and the perfect combination for a Pokemon. This artist's Pokemon designing skill is already great. They simply have to keep on drawing and improve their general art skill. Everybody's at a different stage in their development as an artist, but it's rare to find someone who is still learning how to draw, but has already nailed the design philosophy of Pokemon. So let's bring Sculpion to life. This was definitely the easiest to redesign. I was literally just taking the original and cleaning it up a bit. We gotta show both eyes a bit more and making the legs more three-dimensional. The original had these lines on the claws, so I decided to incorporate that throughout the design. The skull tail is literally the same, but I added more spirals in the head holes, like on the back of the body. Less spines on the shaft of the tail, and literally the same exact colors, but with an added darker variant throughout. It just made it more interesting in my opinion. Say hi to Sculpion, the macabre Pokemon, a ghost bug Pokemon. Sculpion roam caves and grave sites at night. They hide from larger Pokemon by camouflaging as a skull, but if an opponent dares to walk up to Macabre, they will hypnotize them with their skull and drain their life energy. They contain a swirling pool of souls inside their husk. They use the tips of their claw along with their tail to dig. They do have a habit of befriending those with sweet souls. Perhaps they find their life energy delicious. They have the abilities Curse Body and Intimidate. I'm sure Sculpion is a fan favorite. There isn't much of a difference. I do like the charm of the original drawing, but if it needed to be rendered for a professional game, I'm sure my version is good enough. Next is the obligatory starter Pokemon. We have one in every video in this series. Slowjamoke made a waterline based on an inspiring knight or hero going through their stages of development. That's how any good starter Pokemon should be. The progression is balanced and natural, and the personality is great. Successful designs too. Although the art style is similar to a show called Teacher's Pet, it's not a bad thing. It's charming, but a bit different for Pokemon. I think the one with the most potential but also need for improvement is Porprotector. First of all, I'm going to change the name to Portector. While clever, Porprotector is not easy to say. It doesn't flow well, but the entire concept is going to be pretty much the same. I'm just going to change some of the execution, streamline some features, maybe make it look even more like a dolphin. You know how it is. Let's do it. Now, instead of more humanoid proportions, I'm simply going to start with the dolphin and begin to give it limbs. The original already had a fantastic pose, better than anything I would have thought of, so I'm keeping it. It also has a nice arch to it now. It flows better, like a water type. It has pretty eyes and a narwhal horn, but I will have to resize the tail because it's getting in the way of the legs. I'm redesigning the arms to make them look more like dolphin flippers. No need for them to look like humanoid arms. I made the face a bit more androgynous because people prefer starters that can believably be both feminine and masculine. I wanted to keep the helmet patterns that the original had on its mouth, but it's honestly the one attribute I don't think I can keep. It's fine for an average Pokemon, but it would look too creepy for a starter Pokemon. I'm adding a final pattern on the belly to tie it all together, and finally added the water cape and feather coming from the blowhole. I personally wouldn't have kept them, but it's an important part of the original design, and it wouldn't feel like the same Pokemon without them. The color scheme is the same, but a bit less empty. The original had too much empty space in the tail and chest, but now there's more color in those areas. Here is Portector, the chivalrous Pokemon, a water fighting type. Protector defend the seas with their resilient horns, thick skin, sharp tails, and pressurized water blasts. They are very experienced in battle, and rarely show off, but can get carried away and will display much pride when defeating tenacious opponents. They never harm the weak, but will agree to teach younger Pokemon by sparring with them. They let out a steady stream of water from their blowhole, which also cascades down their back. They will use their tail to grapple and disarm opponents. They can use echolocation to find lost Pokemon. They have the abilities Torrent with the hidden ability Lightning Rod. This design is what this series is all about, trying to find my own spin on great designs while keeping the concept of the original. It's simply my interpretation. I tried to make it look like a starter, and I hope I succeeded. But before moving on to the final design, I want to show you some honorable mentions. I love Phoenix Fox's designs. Badgerontier is super cute, and I'm impressed by the proportions, but I clearly stated that you must draw on a plain white background, so no lines. Their electric penguin is nice too, and has no lines, but again, I could only design like 4 Pokemon in this video, so there wasn't room. Brando Dragon is clearly an amazing artist. Their designs are a bit too detailed and hardcore for Pokemon, so it would have been fun to tone them down. But hey, they'd already be perfect for any other franchise, honestly. Jodon here by Cebu is also really cool. I think Cebu is on their way to making some exciting Fakemon. Lovechop's designs don't need much changing. I wouldn't have added anything substantial, but since I like these a lot, I'm showing them off. Yolembo's Threshock looks like a sick mascot for some sport team or energy drink. It's a very inspiring design. Pigpen Molly's Clown Butterfly is a great character concept, both for the fact that bugs and clowns can be unnerving, but also colorful. Molly can easily iterate on this design themselves. They don't need me. The zebra would have been really fun to redesign. It's a great concept and well drawn, so I wouldn't really change anything important. Now, Goofball is apparently 11 and can already draw this fantastic Fakemon. You're on your way, Goofball. Good job. But finally, we get to Sai the Monkey's Binja. I love the color scheme of this, but I do think this is a little too edgy without enough depth. Like, it's a ninja, but doesn't have much ninja attributes, and it's also a bit too dark, so you can't see any details. We also want to make those glowing orbs look a bit more functional, but this kind of drawing is the most fun to redesign, honestly. It'll make me think. I'm gonna try to make it as cool, but a tiny bit more approachable. This is giving me legendary vibes, so I'll tone it down and make it look more like an average Pokemon. I'll make each part of the body look more logical, so it'll be the biggest change, but still be the exact same concept. The proportions are relatively similar, and originally I decided to implement the mouth on Sai the Monkey's design, but felt it made the dude too unapproachable. Again, it was too edgy. Every aspect was cool, there has to be something less extreme, so I didn't implement the mouth. I decided to make it way more segmented, so it's not just black skin, but an entire exoskeleton suit. I gave it a ninja face covering that also looks like mandibles on a bug. I think actually giving it shoulders really added to the design. And you always want contrast. Every aspect of the original design was bulky, so I made the blade claws skinnier, which also make it look more like scythes on a ninja. I'm gonna add the lines that the original has, but make it look more like ninja bandages. And I finally realized the original design is wearing a hood, so I added that and it actually looks like a ninja bug now. I think something that was missing were the spikes bugs have on their legs, which also look like the spikes on ninja armor. I'm gonna make it dark blue instead of near black. After all, navy is better for night camouflage than pitch black. I'm gonna actually also add variations of blue. You can't have the Pokemon look completely black. You won't be able to see the segments and details. And I'm making the bandages look like the silk of a bug. Again, we need the contrast. We shouldn't have every single color be dark. Beware, Binja, the shocking Pokemon, a dark electric type. They're able to sense the electromagnetic fields emanating from all life, allowing them to track down their targets. They hide in the shadows, observing their prey in a huddled position. When the time is opportune, they will swiftly come out of hiding and shock their target with the tips of their claws, instantly stunning them, giving Binja an opening to slash its prey. It regains energy by draining power sources. The levitating orb on its head is a dense source of power. As a last resort, it will let out a devastating beam from its horn. Their padded exoskeleton absorbs sound, allowing them to act in absolute silence. Their presence is always a surprise. They have the abilities Volt Absorb and Stake Out, with the hidden ability Adaptability. This was actually the first design that popped out to me when I was looking for submissions. It's not technically impressive, but it's admittedly one of the coolest looking characters I've seen. But based on what I think a Pokemon should look like, I personally think my redesign is more balanced. Thank you very much, Sai the Monkey, and thank you guys for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed and want to see part 4, and subscribe to know when that comes out. Make sure to follow the instructions at the beginning of the video if you want to participate in the next episode, and check the description for the music I used, the t-shirts I made for you guys, and my Twitter, which you need to follow to take part in this fun. I'll see you guys very soon.